Okay, let's unpack this scenario.
Yeah.
Because it really is, it's like something out of a high-stakes novel. Except for Stephanie Johnson, this professional woman, it's terrifyingly real.
Absolutely.
Imagine this. You're, a successful PR professional, respected, working hard, keeping that perfect corporate image your whole life, built on credibility. And then, boom, an ace reporter, Leo Stark. This guy's known for being, relentless, a truth teller.
Yeah.
He shows up in your door and basically asks, hey, are you Anastasia Sands? The secret author of the most popular, maybe the steamiest book in America.
It's the ultimate professional nightmare, isn't it? That identity crisis. The sheer scale of the conflict here is just, wow, fascinating.
Yeah.
You've got this massive creative success, right? A national bestseller. But it's completely at odds with the serious, kind of buttoned-up professional reputation she spent years building in PR. And this deep dive is so necessary because Stephanie's secret, it's out. Compromised. And the clock is seriously ticking because of this calculated betrayal that's basically stripped away all her control.
That's the key, isn't it? The agency, the control, it's just gone. So our source material here, it's basically a stack of reports detailing this whole explosive drama around her compromised identity.
Right.
We're going to analyze the chain of events, how the leak happened, focusing really on that moment of betrayal.
Yeah.
And then we need to dissect the urgent strategic choices she and her partner, Alex Kyriakis, have to make, like right now, to try and control this thing.
And this is super relevant for you, the listener. I mean, whatever industry you're in, this isn't just gossip column stuff.
I know.
It's like a masterclass in reputation management and damage control under, extreme pressure. What do you actually do when your huge personal success clashes head-on with your professional ambition, especially when someone else, maybe covering their own back, pulls the trigger?
Yeah.
The planning needed here, it shifts instantly from just crisis management to, strategic opportunity creation. It's intense.
So let's dive right in. Section 1. That best-selling secret, how it got too big to hide, and those unwelcome visitors who first signaled things were about to fall apart.
Okay, first, we really need to grasp how incredibly popular this secret identity Anastasia Sands became. To really get the scale of the threat,
Yes.
The source material is super clear. The book, One Stormy Night, it wasn't just doing okay. It was a smash hit, a national bestseller, everywhere.
Wow.
That kind of success, it means anonymity is almost impossible to keep long term.
Yeah, everyone wants to know who wrote it. The buzz, the sales figures must have been astronomical.
Yeah.
Making this anonymous author like one of the most talked about people in books right now.
Exactly.
But that huge success, financially, creatively, it came with this massive professional risk, which is why she used the pen name Anastasia Sands in the first place. She worried, and the sources confirm this, that publishing a, quote, steamy romance novel would make her look, sketchy to her corporate PR clients.
And that anxiety, that's the core problem with her whole plan, really. Think about it. A top PR exec.
Yeah.
They're expected to project stability, good judgment, maybe even a little bit conservative, right? Especially when handling big corporate accounts.
Sure.
A steamy romance novel. I mean, by definition, it goes into intimate stuff, sometimes taboo subjects, emotional, sexual.
Yeah.
It can absolutely undermine that serious professional image.
Right. Clients who rely on her for serious comms might suddenly see her as, not so serious, or like she feared sketchy.
Precisely. She built this incredibly profitable alter ego to shield her main identity.
But the shield kind of became a spotlight, didn't it?
It did. And the first signs that shield was failing. Those two very different, very unwelcome visitors who showed up at her door recently. One was, let's say, an emotional threat. The other, existential.
Professional.
Okay, so the emotional threat came first. Yeah, that was her ex-boyfriend, Jeremy Horton. He apparently showed up with pink flowers and lots of excuses for how he acted in the past.
The ex with flowers. Classic.
But see, Jeremy isn't just any ex. The sources kind of imply he's got a reputation for being chaotic, maybe even the psycho ex,
Oh, okay. So more than just awkward.
Right. His arrival, with the clumsy apology and pink flowers, it sets up the contrast perfectly. He's messy, predictable, an emotional tangle. But he wasn't initially trying to, expose her publicly.
He was a private problem. Annoying, maybe, but contained.
Exactly. But then visitor number 2 arrives, right on the heels of Jeremy. And this one was the crisis. ace reporter Leo Stark.
Oh, boy.
Leo didn't bring flowers. He came armed with accusations and a rumor that Stephanie Johnson was Anastasia Sands.
That's it. That's the moment the threat jumps from personal drama to, like, immediate PR catastrophe.
And Stephanie, according to the sources, she shut him down right away.
Good for her.
But Leo Stark isn't the type to just, walk away. He's relentless. And historically, we know from his time as the former lady whistleblower, he knows how to get a story.
So the clock is ticking. Loudly.
Oh, yeah. The source material confirms the worst. The countdown to a public reveal has officially begun.
And what's wild is how tightly she'd kept this secret until now.
Yeah.
We should probably define that original circle of trust just to see how big the betrayal really was.
Good point. Yeah, the secret Stephanie being Anastasia Sands, it was known by only a tiny group, vetted, loyal people.
Okay.
This inner circle included her partner, Alex Kyriakis.
Romantic and professional partner, right?
Right. Her editor, Kate Roberts, a trusted friend, Kayla Brady, and critically, E.J. DiMera. That was the group sworn to secrecy.
So 5 people, that's it.
That was it. But here's the thing. The integrity of that circle, it was already compromised before Leo even knocked on the door.
How so?
Well, we know Jeremy Horton figured it out on his own. Just by reading the book, we'll get into the sheer awkwardness of how he figured it out later.
Okay, so Jeremy knew, and now?
And now, because of this specific calculated leak, Leo Stark knows too.
Oh, man.
So the secret goes from being held by 5 supposedly loyal people to being actively weaponized, not just by a known reporter, but maybe also by an ex looking for revenge.
Yeah, the stability of her whole professional life now depends on the morals of 2 guys who have zero reason to protect her PR career.
Zero incentive. And that shift from contained secret to active leverage, that's exactly what takes us into Section 2. Because the sources are brutally clear about who broke ranks, who started this whole collapse.
Okay, this is where it really shifts, doesn't it? From an identity crisis to, like, a full-on moral showdown.
Absolutely. The compromise wasn't an accident. It wasn't Jeremy trying to get back at her by calling a reporter. Nope. The sources point a very clear finger. E.J. DiMera. It was his calculated betrayal that sold Stephanie out to Leo Stark.
E.J.
Yeah.
Who was in that inner circle? Who promised to keep the secret?
The very same. It's incredibly galling, as you say. He was trusted. But the sources say he scrambled and deliberately blabbed Stephanie's secret or identity to Leo.
Why? Why would he do that?
Because apparently E.J. needed a major distraction, like a smokescreen, a shield, to stop Leo from asking questions that were way, way more dangerous to him, to his own family even.
Okay, so what was Leo digging into that was so bad for E.J.? We have to understand the pressure Leo was applying here. E.J. didn't just toss Stephanie under the bus lightly. He did it to avoid, potentially, professional ruin, maybe even legal trouble. Leo wasn't chasing gossip. He was on to 2 really toxic things threatening E.J. directly.
Okay, what were they?
First, Leo was asking about the big blackout recently, and specifically, whether the hospital construction which E.J. was involved with was to blame.
Negligence. That's serious. Corporate liability, maybe even criminal charges.
Exactly. That alone could wreck E.J.'s career, but that wasn't even the deepest secret Leo was sniffing around.
There was something worse. Oh, yeah. The truly toxic question, the one that made E.J. panic and sacrifice Stephanie. Leo was asking, who really shot him?
Wait, who shot Leo?
Okay, context here is crucial. E.J. is absolutely desperate to keep this buried because the source material confirms the shooter was little awful Rachel Black.
Rachel Black, a kid, shot Leo Stark.
That's what the sources say. And Rachel is, connected to powerful people, and she's a minor. The implication is crystal clear.
Yeah.
The establishment, specifically E.J., is pulling out all the stops, crossing moral lines to protect a child from the consequences of shooting a reporter.
Wow. Okay, so a corporate negligence scandal is bad.
Right.
But exposing a violent act by a child and the subsequent cover-up, that's catastrophic, potentially career-ending for everyone involved in hiding it.
So, yeah. Faced with that choice, let the world find out, little Rachel Black shot Leo with all the legal and personal hell that would unleash, or toss Stephanie's romance novelist identity into the media frenzy. E.J. chose the sexy scandal.
He used Anastasia Sands as a sacrificial lamb.
The human shield? Mm-hmm. To divert Leo from a genuinely dark, potentially criminal secret?
That is just textbook catastrophic betrayal.
Oh.
Especially since she trusted him. He was in the circle.
Mm-hmm.
The immediate fallout for Stephanie is obvious. Her identity's compromised. She knows it could blow up publicly any second now. Her fate is basically in Leo Stark's hands, or his editor's schedule.
And the first reaction, Pure fury, you'd imagine. The sources suggest a confrontation might be coming. Stephanie might, well, circle back around to EJ and shoo him out for spilling her secret.
I would hope so.
But the real consequence isn't just anger. It's the potential destruction of their working relationship. Any trust. Gone. Poof.
But hang on, you mentioned a nuance here. Something that complicates her response.
Right. This is critical for her next steps. Stephanie might not know for sure, like 100%, that it was EJ.
Why not?
Because the reports suggest Leo Stark didn't name his source. He's a reporter. He protects his sources, right? Even if they hand him a scoop on a silver platter.
Okay, so Leo got the info, but he didn't say, oh, by the way, EJ DiMera told me.
Exactly. Which means the secret's out, but who leaked it is technically ambiguous to Stephanie, the victim.
So who might she suspect?
Well, the source material floats the idea she might even suspect Jeremy Horton, her ex. That he told Leo as some sort of revenge for their breakup or their messy history.
Which is paralyzing, right? Because if she thinks it's Jeremy...
ETEC's an emotional problem. Deals with the ex.
But if she knew it was EJ...
That's a professional corporate betrayal. Requires a totally different strategy. How she handles the press, the fallout, it really hinges on knowing who leaked it, or at least anticipating their motive. She has to split her focus between two potential culprits, the volatile ex or the calculating colleague.
And that just shows how effective EJ's betrayal was. He probably didn't just protect his secret.
He likely deflected suspicion onto the more obvious, emotionally charged, and frankly, less professionally damaging target. The psycho ex. Genius in a horrible way.
Okay, wow. Before we get into Alex's plan for moving forward, we kind of need to rewind a bit. Section 3, looking at the past. Because the very things she tried so hard to hide are exactly what enabled this whole mess.
Yeah, let's just quickly restate why she used the pen name in the first place. Yeah. The core reason, which seems almost quaint now, right?
Right.
Stephanie chose Anastasia Sands because she didn't want her PR clients thinking she was sketchy. It was all about protecting her professional credibility.
The whole double life was built on that fear.
Yeah.
But the reason it's all crumbling now, it comes down to one specific kind of embarrassing autobiographical detail that got left in the book accidentally.
Yes, the infamous mile-high error.
That's the one. This single detail was how Jeremy figured it out, which created the private crisis that then paved the way for Leo's public one.
Okay, so the sources describe a very clear instruction Stephanie gave to Alex Kyriakis, her partner, remember, who was also helping edit this thing. She specifically told Alex to cut out one particular section, the mile-high club section. She knew it was too close to home, too specific to her past. It risked blowing her cover.
And Alex?
Alex did not do as she asked. He left it in.
Whoa. Okay, that's huge. Was that just a massive oversight, an editorial mistake, or was it something else?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Did Alex just forget? Or did he maybe even subconsciously leave it in because he knew that specific, juicy, recognizable detail was part of what made the book feel authentic, part of what drove its success, even if it risked her identity?
High-risk gamble, maybe?
Could be. The consequence, though, was immediate recognition by the one person she didn't want recognizing it. That section had sexy pilot stewardess naughty stuff, drawn directly from her past working with Jeremy. Back when he used to fly planes, this wasn't some generic fantasy. It was tied to their shared history.
Intimately. So Jeremy's reading this bestseller.
Doing a little light reading, as the sources put it.
Right. And he comes across this scene, and he thinks, hang on a minute. I know this. He recognized his own past life, basically, in the middle of this steamy novel.
Exactly. It wasn't clever detective work. It was personal recognition, enabled entirely by Alex not cutting that section.
It really highlights that danger, doesn't it? Drawing too closely from real life in your fiction.
Absolutely. She tried to keep the worlds separate, but her personal past, specifically with Jeremy, was maybe too compelling or just too deeply baked into the story to easily remove.
Okay, and we also need to remember how EJ DiMera originally found out, because that moment, ironically, involved Stephanie doing the right thing, which makes his betrayal later even worse.
Good point. Yeah, the original discovery happened during that blackout. Remember, EJ wrongly suspected Kayla Brady, Stephanie's friend, was Anastasia Sands. This was during some online fan Q&A they were hosting on a hospital office.
Right, and EJ was really leaning on Kayla, wasn't he? Accusing her.
He was. And Stephanie, in a moment of real loyalty, stepped up. She admitted she was the author. To get Kayla out from under EJ's accusations, she revealed her secret to protect her friend from unfair suspicion.
So let's connect those dots.
Right.
Stephanie reveals her secret to EJ out of loyalty. to protect someone else.
Right.
And then later, EJ uses that exact same secret as leverage to protect himself and his own dark secret about Rachel Black.
It shows such a profound, devastating difference in character, doesn't it? And loyalty. Between Stephanie and the man she trusted with her secret, she used it to save a friend, he used it to save himself.
Wow. Yeah. It perfectly sets up the situation there now. The identity crisis isn't internal anymore. It's out there. It's a weapon held by others.
So what's the move? Now that Leo Stark is involved, that brings us to Alex Kyriakis, her partner, who apparently has a very clear and very ambitious strategy. Let's get into that in Section 4. Right. So Alex Kyriakis, he gets media, right? He knows they absolutely cannot let this leak happen on Leo Stark's terms. Letting the former lady whistleblower drop it as some unchecked scoop, that'd be a disaster for controlling Stephanie's story.
So they need a plan, like immediately.
Exactly. A proactive, carefully planned writer reveal plan. They have to control the timing, the message, everything.
The urgency is absolute, isn't it? The sources say if Leo were still operating as Lady Whistleblower, that anonymous persona,
he would have already leaked it. Yeah. The threat level means they have to seize control right now. This can't be some defensive reaction to a leak. Alex wants it to be a big, triumphant public debut.
So he's not just thinking damage control. He sees an opportunity here.
Totally. He's capitalizing on the crisis, treating it like, okay, the secret's out, might as well make the most of it. He's apparently gently nudging Stephanie to come out of the writer's closet.
Gently nudging.
Yeah.
Or maybe strongly pushing.
Well, his vision goes way beyond just fixing the immediate problem. He sees this as a massive positive career shift for her. Not just reducing risk, but pivoting to a whole new profession.
Okay, so what are his big goals here? Because this sounds like it challenges her whole PR career.
Oh, it does. Big time. First, he thinks the reveal has to be a big splash. A grand public debut, no quiet press release slipped out on a Friday afternoon. This needs to be an event, something that matches the huge success of the book.
Okay, makes sense. What else?
Second, and this is key, he directly pushes back on Stephanie's biggest fear that her PR reputation will be ruined.
Right, the sketchy fear.
Alex argues the opposite. He thinks the buzz, the visibility, even the controversy will actually be great for her business.
How does he figure that?
It's that modern branding idea, right? Visibility equals currency, even if it comes from controversy. He thinks being a famous best-selling author will actually elevate her profile way beyond just being a competent PR exec.
Okay, but let's push back on that. Is he maybe prioritizing pure fame over actual credibility?
That's the risk.
Because for a PR pro, credibility is the currency. If her clients are like serious companies, conservative banks, whatever, how do they react to hiring the author of One Stormy Night? The buzz might boost her personal brand.
But it could shrink her professional client pool.
Exactly. It could effectively force her out of traditional high-stakes PR.
That's the gamble. It's a high-stakes trade-off. Alex is betting the global impact of her book's success will outweigh any sort of localized professional stigma.
Okay, so big splash reveal argues it's good for business. What's the ultimate goal?
The biggest one. Alex explicitly wants her to give up her day job in public relations entirely. He wants her to become a full-time writer.
Wow. A complete career change. Does he think she can actually pull that off long term?
Well, the sources give us the key reason he thinks it's viable. It's not just about One Stormy Night. Apparently, she has a new mystery novel that she wrote that's about to be released.
Oh, that changes things.
Right. It shows she's not just a one-hit wonder in the romance genre. She can write across different fields. Alex sees a proper literary career here, not just milking the success of one steamy book.
So he sees her as an author, capital A, not just Anastasia Sands.
Exactly. And the timing for this whole strategic pivot, it's not just driven by Leo Stark breathing down their necks. There's also an immediate promotional opportunity.
With that?
The sources mentioned Julie Williams. She's a big deal in the community, right? She wants to host a book signing during her new bookstore's grand reopening in Horton Town Square.
Ah, okay. That's perfect timing for a reveal.
It's basically a physical deadline, a stage already built for the big splash Alex wants. But she can't do the signing as Anastasia Sands if nobody knows who that is. She has to reveal herself to take that opportunity.
So if she waits, she misses this huge local launchpad.
Right. It forces the central gamble. We know Stephanie fears the backlash, losing clients, losing stability. We know Alex hopes for this amazing global brand pivot. The question is, will embracing the sketchy author identity wreck her credibility, or will it, like Alex thinks, elevate her into something bigger, maybe even better than corporate PR?
I do have to wonder, though, is Alex's advice completely objective here?
How do you mean?
Well, he's her partner, right? Romantically, professionally involved in the book. He stands to benefit financially if she becomes a hugely successful full-time author.
The potential conflict of interest.
Yeah. Is he maybe pushing her away from the steady, maybe less glamorous PR salary towards the potentially massive but maybe more volatile payday of being a best-selling author who's also his partner?
That tension's definitely there. Under the surface, it's a huge career leap she's being pushed into, not really by choice, but by betrayal. But having that second book, the mystery novel, that does give Alex's argument more weight. It makes the full-time author pitch seem more plausible, less like just chasing the romance heat.
Right. If it was only romance, it's a narrower bet, but two different genres.
It suggests a range. It justifies the push. Okay, so regardless of the long-term career change, the immediate problem is still Leo Stark. What do they do now? Section 5. Immediate action and damage control.
Okay, so long-term plans aside, Leo Stark is holding the story right now. They can't wait weeks. Action needs to be fast, urgent, and it's all about managing Leo, right?
Absolutely. Alex will definitely push Stephanie to act fast. No more denial. They have to get proactive, like immediately drafting an amazing press release or some kind of big debut event. Job one is seizing control of the narrative, not just the timing.
And Stephanie's own feelings play into this, right?
Yeah.
The sources say she would rather tell people herself than let Leo expose her.
Exactly. That desire for control, even in a crisis, that's the hook Alex can use. That's the motivation to get her on board with the next very tricky step.
Which is
the Leo Stark negotiation. This is delicate, high risk. Since Leo has the scoop and the clock's ticking, the sources suggest the only real move is to engage him directly. They could reach out to Leo and offer him an exclusive interview or something.
Given the steady, but on their terms?
Precisely. It's the classic media jujitsu move. Turn the threat into a temporary partner. Offer Leo a controlled interview where Stephanie gets to frame her story, her motivations, her past, her future plans.
That gives him a much bigger, better story than just printing leak. PR exec is romance author.
Right. It's a proper feature, an exclusive reveal. If they pull this off, they achieve a few things. First, they buy time. Time to plan that grand public debut, maybe line it up perfectly with Julie Williams' bookstore opening.
Okay.
Second, they change Leo's role. He goes from being the guy who scooped the secret to the reporter who broke the official controlled story. That plays to his ego, his professional ambition. They win the timing and the narrative framing.
And it also lets Stephanie get ahead of any narrative that she was hiding something shameful.
Exactly. By proactively opening up, even to the reporter who cornered her, she can spin this, turn the identity crisis into a story about, creative freedom, professional bravery, juggling two worlds. The focus shifts from embarrassing secret to bold reveal.
Okay, so that's the plan. What's the outcome of this strategy session, according to the sources?
The bottom line is Stephanie and Alex are supposed to be making a big announcement very soon, like within the next couple of weeks. This urgent timeline. It's dictated entirely by Leo Stark knowing the secret, the decisions made. They're going for the pivot, using the crisis as the launch pad.
It's quite the arc, isn't it? From hiding a secret out of professional fear to having that secret weaponized by a colleague covering his own tracks to now trying to flip that exposure into a whole new, potentially huge career.
The dominoes just fell perfectly, or maybe imperfectly, depending on your view, leaving this bold public debut as pretty much their only viable option. Stephanie's fears, her past, they've basically been steamrolled by Alex's ambition and EJ's betrayal. The success or failure of this new literary path, it all hangs on how well they execute this reveal.
So what does this really mean for her future? As a full-time author, let's wrap this up. #tag outro.
Okay, let's quickly sum up the key takeaways from this deep dive. The core tension driving this whole crisis. It's that fundamental clash between Stephanie's established image, the serious corporate PR pro, and her massive, undeniable success as Anastasia Sands, the steamy romance writer.
Right, the two identities just couldn't coexist secretly forever. And crucially, the timing of this reveal, it wasn't her choice. It was forced on her by E.J. DiMera's calculated betrayal. He threw her identity out there to save himself from that much darker secret about little awful Rachel Black.
Yeah, that betrayal turned a private secret into an urgent public relations problem, ironically for a PR professional.
And now Alex Kyriakis is jumping on this crisis, positioning it as the perfect moment for Stephanie to ditch PR altogether, become a full-time author, and ride the wave of one stormy night into a new career. Assuming, of course, they can manage the Leo Stark situation.
Exactly. But here's the final thought, something for you, the listener, to cue on as Stephanie gets ready for this huge kind of forced career leap.
Yeah.
Our sources confirm she doesn't just have this steamy romance novel. She has that new mystery novel about to be released, maybe under her own name now. Or still Anastasia, we don't know.
Ah, right. The genre shift.
That's the ultimate branding challenge, isn't it? If the big public reveal focuses entirely on Anastasia Sands, the author of the sexy Mile High Club stuff, can the public then pivot? Can they accept and respect her as a serious mystery writer?
Yeah, the romance novel gives her the platform, the instant audience.
But it also risks defining her, limiting her. Can the Anastasia Sands brand stretch to cover gritty mysteries?
Building credibility in mystery writing usually needs a different vibe than steamy romance, right? Will her debut as a full-time, multi-genre author get stuck in the shadow of one stormy night? Or can she actually convince people she has range?
It's tough. Once you're famous for one thing, especially something as specific as steamy romance, selling yourself as an expert in a totally different genre is incredibly difficult.
Indeed. So, the secret's out. But the story of her actual future, her professional narrative, that's still waiting to be written. Stephanie Johnson's about to find out if the heat from a scandal can translate into lasting literary respect.
A really compelling deep dive into strategy, betrayal, and reputation. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, we'll definitely be watching to see if this pivot turns out to be amazing, as Alex hopes, or if those fears about the sketchy label win out in the end.